best player in the country plays for Arizona, and DeAndre Ayton, who was an absolute animal in the semifinal win over UCLA. Meanwhile, they're taking on USC, and they are high and flying, led by Jonah Matthews, who comes off a career-high 27 points in the semifinals. Those two teams will meet coming up here tonight at T-Mobile Arena. Certainly glad that you are aboard, and welcome courtside now with Casey Jacobson. I'm Kevin Burkhardt. So it all comes down to this, a championship game tonight. Fans are already rocking and rolling. A little college hoops on FS1 with the Trojans and the Wildcats. And so here we are, number 1 and number 2. I guess it's fitting that it is USC and Arizona, right, Casey?
It's been a really fun tournament, though, Kevin. 10 games down, 1 more to go, the most important game. We've had 3 overtime contests, but we thought this would be a wide-open tournament, and we're left with the number 1 seed versus the number 2 seed for the 5th consecutive year. But I think USC has earned and deserves this chance at redemption. These two teams only met 1 time in Tucson, so can USC get a momentum-building win heading into the NCAA tournament?
It won't be easy, that's for sure. Arizona, the top seed for a reason. Their head coach, Sean Miller, is the guy that has led them here. As we look at the bracket so far, here's what we got here, semifinals. Arizona with a hard-fought win in overtime over UCLA. USC just had their way with Oregon. Sean Miller's club trying to win another Pac-12 basketball tournament. He spent some time with our Steve Lavin moments ago.
Coach, your team this year has persevered, navigated through challenges both on and off the court in winning the championship, regular season, and now tonight a chance for the Pac-12 Conference Tournament Championship. What traits or elements are in play that have allowed you to move forward like this?
Well, I think experience, Lav, more than anything. We have a good group of talent, but we also have a unique blend of experience. Parker Jackson Cartwright, he's that point guard that used to play a lot more in college basketball, a senior, somebody who's paved the way and paid his dues. Deuce at the center position, really ditto for those two guys. Tonight I was thinking about it. I think they're playing their 11th Pac-12 tournament game. So when you have players that have been through the ups and downs, the rigors of college basketball, it helps guide the ship through adversity.
DeAndre Ayton coming off a remarkable performance, 32 points, 14 rebounds. You've referred to DeAndre as a once-in-a-generation player, and you've coached some great ones. What is it about him that jumps out to you?
Well, a lot of things. It's his incredible athleticism at his height. Usually a guy 7 feet, they might be limited laterally or running or jumping, and all three, he's blessed as if he's a great athlete at 6'4". Usually when you have that dimension, your skill level, maybe you're raw, and one day it'll come, but he's very skilled. He's got a great touch, an excellent passer, unbelievable hands. And then really, I think the thing that separates him from a lot of others is just he's a great kid. He has a tremendous attitude. He's very intelligent, cares a lot about winning, and he's really never put himself before anything that our team has done.
Yeah, thanks for your time, Coach, and good luck, and enjoy tonight. We'll talk to you down the line.
Thank you.
Kevin, back to you.
Lav, Coach Miller, thanks. Well, all he did against UCLA was everything. I mean, it was utterly ridiculous. He didn't miss many shots. Passing to add in there the fact that he had 3 assists. He's a very willing passer. The guy just does it all. So he's going to be a handful for USC tonight, Case. We know that. Now, here's USC, though. They're playing maybe their 2 best defensive games of the year, the last 2 games. They play that zone D, and it's been great. But how about the challenges in that of trying to stop the big man, the physicalness of Ayton?
Yeah, you don't stop DeAndre Ayton, but you can slow him down, and there are a few things that you need to do. The first and foremost, you cannot let him get easy layups and dunks. This young man shoots 82% at the rim. That's just flat out ridiculous. They play a zone, you mentioned it, Kevin, so they're going to swarm him. You got to do your work early. If he catches it deep, you got to foul him. Second thing, you need to make him shoot perimeter jump shots. Now, DeAndre Ayton is talented enough where he still can knock him down, but at 42% from the mid-range, you're going to live with that. And the third thing, you got to go at him. When he's got to play defense on Chimezie Metu and Nikola Kosovic. Yeah,
I would live with 40-something% rather than 82%. So I like your math. Stanford math coming through. Well done, Casey Jacobson. So the guy that's trying to slow Ayton down, Andy Enfield, he's the head coach of USC. Spent some time with our Joe Davis moments ago.
All right, Kevin, Coach, you hold Oregon State to 48 in the first game, 54 last night against Oregon. How have you done it defensively?
Well, we led the league in defense this year. We're playing very good defense most of the season, and it's a key to our success. We're 18-0, and we hold teams to 70 and under.
You look at Arizona tonight in Tucson, lost by double digits. What's going to happen for a different outcome this time around?
Well, Tucson's a very hard place to play. They played well. It was a tie game with about 10 minutes left, and they pulled away at the end. Give them credit. They're extremely talented. They're very good defensively, and offensively, when they make their threes, they're tough to beat.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Kev.
Joe, thanks. Coach Enfield really laying it out there, right? I mean, you see he hasn't had success against Arizona in the limited times they've played, but he knows they've got to hold them to low scoring. That's what's been right for them. What else, though, for USC, Casey? What else needs to happen for them tonight to win?
Yeah, I have a small recipe for an upset for USC. They're talented, so they don't need a ton, but they need to play well, certainly. You have to get off to a good start. This is a pro-Arizona crowd. They need something good for USC to go early so they can get some confidence. Second, they got to compete on the glass. They got absolutely annihilated the first matchup, 40-22 advantage for Arizona on the boards. And the third thing, they need some three-point shooting, just like they had the other night against Oregon. If they can have some role players for USC, guys like Jonah Matthews, who shoots 45% from the three-point line in Pac-12 play. So Jonah Matthews, Elijah Stewart, and Jordan McLaughlin. If those guys can hit perimeter shots, look out. This USC team is really dangerous.
Yeah, they like to shoot it. We'll see if they can do it. And as you heard Coach Enfield say, keep them under 70. Those the keys tonight for the Trojans. Meanwhile, highlights, of course, conference title games going on around the country, like in the Big East. Providence after the upset over Villanova. Ed Cooley's wearing a towel because he broke his pants, Casey. I'm serious. He ripped his pants.
So he sweats a lot too, though.
He's wearing a towel. Bottom line is Kyron Cartwright with a miss. Diallo there, towel, Ed Cooley. We go to overtime, right? Wildcats up one, and then Mikal Bridges says, yep.
Mikal Bridges and Jalen Brunson, the Batman and Robin, combined for 56 of their 76.
Villanova Big East champs again. West Virginia trying to knock off the Kings. That would be number one, Kansas. And the Alley and the U to D'Souza there. Kansas is down one at the break, though. Kansas still down one. Look at this shot.
Well, that's Devontae Graham, the best senior in college basketball, the Big 12 Player of the Year. He had 18 points and double-digit assists as well.
Another conference title for Kansas. Kentucky and Alabama going at it. P.J. Washington going to get it, going to drive, going to finish. And a big dunk.
You never know with this Kentucky team. They can beat anybody in the country, and they can lose to anybody in the country, but they sure are fun to watch.
Gabriel with the three at a career-high 23 points. Yeah, and Alabama, their little Cinderella run, the tournament is over. How about UMBC against number one Vermont, the American East Championship? Jarris Lyles from beyond the arc with the three ball. Look at that with the time left, and that would do it.
I love dogs, so I love the Retrievers. Welcome to the NCAA tournament.
They had lost 23 in a row to Vermont until then.
That's a lot.
3 in a row. Houston and Wichita State, this was a good one, too. Cougars down one. Rob Gray with the steal, and then Galen Robinson for two with the hush-hush. Under 10 to go. Wichita State down one. There you go. Houston's got it. Hold on to win it. They'll play Cincinnati in the championship game. St. Joe's the number one, Rhode Island, the A-10 semifinals here. Rhode Island. Cyril Langevin, the layup and the harm. Rhode Island, their first lead of the game. Under 30 seconds ago, Rhode Island is up 3. Jeff Doughton, no doubt in that. That goes down, and Rhode Island goes on to play Davidson in the championship. Sean Miller, Andy Enfield. The coaches shaking hands at center court. Good luck to you guys. We will see you later. Someone's going to come up with a Pac-12 championship after this one here tonight. So we talk about keys to the game. Welcome back courtside with Kathy Jacobson. I'm Kevin Burkhardt. You mentioned, one of your recipes here for success, USC getting out to a quick start. That's one thing about Arizona. As good as they are, they have had some issues seemingly in the beginning of the game, kind of revving the motor a little bit, haven't they?
Yeah, I think so. Alonzo Trier was the guy that got off to a slow start yesterday. I thought he settled for way too many three-point shots. I expect Alonzo Trier to be a driver and a playmaker. In fact, when he has 4 assists or more, Arizona is undefeated. And I'm sure the Arizona coaching staff has talked to Alonzo about that. He can't just settle for threes. And then I'm fascinated tonight, Kevin, with the matchup of senior point guards. USC's Jordan McLaughlin versus Parker Jackson Cartwright. 2 guys that have been around the block 100 times over. They're probably sick of playing against each other, but a huge matchup matchup. Whoever can D up on that end of the floor is going to give his team a huge advantage.
Well, you heard Sean Miller complimenting Parker Jackson Cartwright, the senior. It's been around a long, long time. He's been in these games before. Jordan McLaughlin, though, for those maybe not on the West Coast, not familiar with his game, the senior, he's one of the smoothest players to ever play, certainly at USC.
He can score the basketball, but this year he's kind of taken a backseat, been more of a facilitator, 6th in the entire country in assists, but this is a guy that can take over the game scoring if needed. So that's his challenge, whether or not to score or facilitate. They're going to need both if they're going to knock off the big boys of Arizona.
I know you had your strategy earlier. If they're going to stop, well, not stop, slow down DeAndre Ayton. Go at him. Chimezi Metu, you like a guy who could jump, you like a guy that could do it all at the rim. That's a guy that can do just that. There might be some alley-oops with that crew.
Yeah, they're going to guard him with Dusan Ristic or DeAndre Ayton. I think Chimezi Metu is quicker than both of those guys.
Starting lineup time. Let's send it over to the public address announcer here at T-Mobile, Jamie Cuffey. What an atmosphere here inside T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Can't wait to get it going with Arizona #1 against #2 USC. Let's head over to the guys calling the game. For us, Joe Davis, Steve Lavin. Take it away, fellas.
All right, Kevin, we're right with you. We can't wait to get this one going either. A couple teams in the preseason lab were top 10 in the entire country. Kind of a roller coaster on both sides, on the court and off. But here we are, final day of the conference season. These teams facing off for a title.
Well, appropriately, these are the two teams with the best personnel, and as a result of that firepower, they clash tonight. There'll be over 30 NBA executives here. There are 10 NBA prospects, so buckle up. You got your seatbelt?
I got it on you.
It's going to be a high-octane affair.
Looking forward to it here in the conference championship game in Las Vegas. Andy Enfield has turned this program around. He's in his 5th season. More wins in this 3-year stretch than in any 3-year stretch in SC history. Sean Miller in his 9th year as the head man. This one has been as trying as any for numerous reasons. 27 wins per year in his 9 years at the helm of the program. These teams met once during the regular season, an 81-67 Arizona win in Tucson. And now the Trojans in the title game for the first time in 9 years. Arizona, the regular season champs, trying to make it back-to-back tournament titles in 3 out of the last 4 years. DeAndre Ayton to jump it against Chimezi Metu. And off we go from Las Vegas with a Pac-12 championship up for grabs.
Interesting, Joe. These teams take different approaches defensively. USC predominantly zone, and of course Arizona exclusively man-to-man.
Parker Jackson Cartwright having himself a tournament. Double figures in both games, and he opens the scoring here with a 3.
And that was the concern that USC had coming into this game, was the three-point shooting of this Arizona team. So they'll have to address that.
Jonah Matthews can't get the roll. There's DeAndre Ayton with his first rebound of the night. And zone you mentioned for USC, that's been one of the big stories of this tournament. Dominant in the 2 games against Oregon State in the quarterfinal and against Oregon last night in the semi. Ristich the offensive rebound. They swing it around the key, and Jackson Cartwright will get it back to Trier to set it up. Hawkins turns it over.
It's the shutouts or stops by USC in that zone that really fuels their offense. They get out at high octane. They can boat race you if you don't convert and execute with precision offensively. They take it and get down the floor as quickly as any team in the country.
Here's Jordan McLaughlin, first team all-conference point guard. Well, the last night, an off night for him. Turned it over 10 times. He bounces for Chimezie Metu. Now Rakocevic. Here's a cutting Matthews, who heads to the line for 2. What a night he had last night. Career high 27 for the sophomore.
Well, and what's interesting is both these teams, Joe, as we take a look at the interior passing, they have bigs that are skilled and can share the basketball. That's a luxury to have size, but also the ability to move big men around, deploy them in a way to take advantage of matchups. So often you'll have a big man who's not skilled, but not the case with these 2 teams.
So Matthews with the first 2 for the Trojans. Arizona cruised in the quarterfinal against Colorado on Thursday night, and then a classic in the semi last night in overtime over UCLA. Outscored the Bruins 11-0 in the extra session. DeAndre Ayton took that game over. That's a turnover. McLaughlin with a steal. A 2-on-1 with Stewart. McLaughlin takes it himself and misses. Rakocevic the offensive board. Matthews toe on the tape too.
Matthews picks up where he left off. The career-high 27 points last night. Got himself to the foul line. Sees the ball go through the net twice. Ideal time to come right back to the hot hand.
Arizona working against that Trojan zone. They find an open Jackson Cartwright. Too strong. Ayton's got the weak side rebound. Trier tries it. Ayton another offensive board. And a third opportunity on this possession for the Cats.
That's one of the liabilities when you play zone is you don't have pinpointed box out responsibilities.
Ayton with his third offensive rebound of the possession, and it turns into his first points of the night.
And Joe, as he does in all aspects of play, he made that look so easy. That was a one-handed control tip. Good look inside by Metu.
To Elijah Stewart. Had a big night last night as well. Yeah, you're right about Ayton. I mean, it's the complete package. And Sean Miller told you before the game, a lot of guys have size and speed, but not a lot of guys have size and speed and skill and the ability to jump. There's not many things he can't do.
And how about the poise and intelligence as well, which is exceptional. He's processing at a different level for a freshman.
Hawkins threw up an air ball. Ayton out of the Bahamas, the conference player of the year. They're going to foul away from the ball here on Hawkins. A couple of weeks ago, it was not clear if Sean Miller would even be with the team at this point. Arizona has been able to survive the distraction that came with the FBI investigation that had Miller away from the team for a game, away from the team for a full week. Here's Rakocevic stuffing it down. Wow, putting the Trojans up by 3.
An excellent set. Man movement on that out-of-bounds play. McLaughlin with the dime after coming off the curl. What a delivery.
Up top, DeAndre Ayton from Brandon Smith.
The ease, fluidity, and grace, as we talked about last night.
Got another foul away from the ball here. Said Brandon Smith. Dylan Smith with the assist. And now Smith gets called for the foul. His first.
USC has to get better ball pressure on Arizona, not allow those precise passes over the top. That's why DeAndre Ayton was able to get that dunk.
Matthews rises. He's off to a good start again.
USC's execution, again, the velocity of their cuts, the crisp ball movement to find the open man, screening well.
Ristich, a running hook shot.
Old school, like a 1940s look there. The George Mikan take fashion approach.
He has just gotten better and better as his career's gone on. Peaking at the right time for Arizona. Rakocevic against Ristich. Gets inside and misses. Now Smith headed the other way for Arizona.
Got to get high hands. Don't allow a team to window shop over the top of your defense.
Ayton gets doubled. Outside Trier. Jackson Cartwright penetrates the zone and kicks. And Dylan Smith is around and out with a 3. A tap out. And a Trier triple. Got it.
Offensive boards for the Wildcats have created second shot opportunities, and they've converted.
But he got 5 offensive rebounds in this game. McLaughlin can't hit. Rakocevic follows to tie it at 12.
Both teams' big fellas going to work on the glass.
You know, that 14-point Arizona win lab in Tucson earlier this year, rebounding was a big part of that. Metsu comes over and grabs it, but is out of bounds. They out-rebounded USC by 18, and they've dominated the glass over the first 6 minutes of this one. The Conference Player of the Year, DeAndre Ayton, has made his presence known already. Tied at a dozen, early stages of the Pac-12 championship. Been a fun Pac-12 tournament here in Las Vegas this weekend. 3 of the games have gone to overtime, including that Arizona win classic last night over UCLA in their second game. A lot of fun ones. Boy, Oregon made a nice little run with a couple of big blocks from Kenny Wooten in the closing moments in their first 2 games. But it's the Trojans and the Wildcats here in the championship. Andy Enfield has the Trojans in the championship game for the first time in 9 seasons, beating Oregon State in Oregon. And Sean Miller's team is here trying to win back-to-back tournament titles and 3 in a 4-year span. They've been able to weather the storm that they've seen over this last month of the season. We touched on it for a moment, but with the FBI investigation, where DeAndre Ayton's name was brought up. The school stuck by both Ayton and Sean Miller, and both part of the team moving forward. And it seems like it's galvanized this group, playing some of their best basketball lately. Ayton's able to corral it underneath. Rakocevic got all ball. It's a jump ball and Trojan ball.
Well, Joe, just following up on your point, both these teams near one another in terms of the off-the-court challenges and issues, injuries, suspensions, and yet, as you mentioned, it served as a catalyst to bring the players together. There's a cohesiveness at both ends of the court that's clearly on display, and it's led to the success.
Chimezie Metu throws it out of bounds. Yeah, both teams caught up in the FBI investigation. Both had an assistant fired.
Both have dealt with injuries. over the course of the season. It's so fascinating in terms of how young people respond, but a lot of credit goes to the coaches, their stewardship and the ability to reframe, create life lessons. Less than ideal.
It's another Arizona turnover. A little bit sloppy on that end lately. Matthews rising, around and out. Ayton above the rest. In the middle of the zone, Ayton's got it. Ayton posting.
Arizona, USC's ball pressure just not as aggressive as it was last night.
Ayton, incredible vision for a Dylan Smith three that's off the heel. A lob for Chimezie Metu, able to corral it in traffic, and they'll reset it. McLaughlin finds an open corner three from Matthews, and how at this point do you leave that guy that open?
Well, how about the hockey assist, the extra pass, the one more around the horn. Stewart to McLaughlin to Matthews with the bomb.
27 last night. He's got 9 of the 15 tonight. No from Ayton. Rakocevic pulls it down.
Well, it's interesting how we'll see in conference tournaments players through the years catch fire.
McLaughlin threw one up there, and Rakocevic was waiting on the rebound.
You think of Kemba Walker, Isaiah Whitehead, to look at the Big East, but a player like Matthews, with the pace he's on, if USC gets a win, he'll be the player of this tournament.
Metu takes it into Ayton, who did well not to pick up a foul. Now it's Alkins 1-on-2. Takes it anyway, and will go to the line for two. Raleigh Alkins out of Brooklyn, New York. Had a huge game against the Trojans the first time around with a game-high 20. And they'll head to the line for two shots on the other side of this break.
Here at T-Mobile Arena, March 17th, Javon Toby will be coming here to rock the house.
Bayless and Shannon Sharp go head-to-head on the day's hottest sports topics. Undisputed with Skip and Shannon, weekdays from 9:30 a.m. to noon Eastern, only on FS1. 11:37 left to go first half in the Pac-12 Tournament Championship. Joe Davis, Steve Lavin, Raleigh Alkins at the line for two shots. And what are your early impressions of this one?
Well, 5 lead changes already, so punch and counter punch in play. The two teams that obviously understand the significance of what's at stake. Not only a championship, but momentum going into the NCAA tournament with the ultimate goal to be winning the national title. But a victory here sets the table, a better trajectory as you step into the tournament, not only when it comes to seeding, but the way you're playing.
We're talking momentum. Both these teams gathering plenty of it, headed towards the NCAA tournament. SC's won 6 of 7. Arizona's won 7 of 8. As Rakocevic loses it out of bounds. Top 2 seeds, top 10 teams in the preseason have found themselves here down the stretch.
Surprised that SC's ball pressure not as aggressive. Similar to putting pressure on a quarterback. It's just too easy.
Janu Pinder's first shot off the glass, no good.
You can't allow an offensive player to be that comfortable to survey over the top of your defense.
McLaughlin high off the window for his first points.
As smooth a ball handling point guard as there is in the country. McLaughlin, precise passing, but his ability to glide, maneuver on the court for shot making and playmaking as good as it gets.
Perhaps recognizing DeAndre Ayton on the bench for the first time, took it right into the teeth of that Arizona defense. Alonzo Trier, not quite been himself lately. Shooting percentage way down the last few games, but a couple of buckets in this one and 5 points. Matthews, quick first step, goes by Trier and drops it in. Already into double figures.
Well devised. Not only does Matthews have a hot hand, but the spacing on USC's alignment there is to lift Arizona and allow Matthews to put it on the deck for the finish. Timeout.
McDonald's new $1, $2, $3 menu has breakfast, so you can use it to build the I forgot to set my alarm clock meal, featuring the sausage McMuffin with egg for $3, or the I'm not a morning person meal. Build your breakfast with favorites on McDonald's new $1, $2, $3 menu.
While our most visionary models can be simulated, nothing compares to the real thing. Experience the Command Performance Sales Event for yourself, now through April 2nd. Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
Trojans in front of the Wildcats, 19-15, halfway through this opening half. Jonah Matthews already with 11 for USC.
Well, again, this is the spacing. Look at everyone above the foul line, and then that direct line drive where Matthews is able to use that quick first step, explosion, and finish at the rim.
Ayton's back in after that quick route. So is Emmanuel Acott. He has the ball now. And now Dusan Ristic up top for Ayton, and only he could catch that pass. Then it's stolen away by Jordan Usher.
Well, and Joe, much better pressure on the ball coming out of that timeout by USC, and they're rewarded with the turnover. High hands, active hands, aggressive on the ball.
That's 6 Arizona turnovers already left. Metu given room, and he can shoot it. He also can pass it. Usher can't finish point blank.
Good cut by Usher, good delivery by Metu, just couldn't finish.
Fun matchup on this end of the floor all night. One of the top offensive teams in the country against a team whose defense has carried it to this point here in Vegas. Ayton from Reston.
Playing as a pair, a tandem of bigs that look for one another, a good feel for where each other is on the court, and then the willingness to share the ball.
In the game for the first time, Derek Thornton, not just tonight, but in this tournament. He's been dealing with an upper respiratory infection. Chimezie Metu leaves it short. Any fresh body you can get at this stage important. 3 games in 3 days for both these teams. Ayton one-on-one with Metu. The double comes. It doesn't matter. And one.
There's a perfect example, Joe. On the catch, Ayton surveys the court, sees he's in single coverage, doesn't rush, takes his time, uses the shoulders, the back down, the spin, the left hand, and gets the shooter's bounce for the finish.
How many 7-1 centers get the shooter's bounce as frequently as this man? We're at a career-high 32 to go along with 14 rebounds in the semifinal win last night. And that came on the heels of, by some measures, his worst game in the quarterfinal, when he admitted that he was a little bit nervous, got a little bit wide-eyed, seeing the big environment in Vegas. It didn't take him long, about 24 hours before he settled right in.
A freshman.
Yeah.
A neophyte.
He's got Arizona back in front. And now foul on Acott puts Metu at the line.
Metu, another big that's capable of putting the ball on the deck. He's improved his skills from year to year in terms of development. And we're seeing his toolbox in play.
You know, one of the encouraging things for the Trojans last night is that they won that game by 20 against Oregon, and they did it without McLaughlin playing well and without Metu doing a whole lot. He had only 10 points, and those are the 2 guys the Trojans have been able to count on most consistently this year.
Well, that's what makes USC intriguing. They're capable of a Sweet 16 or Elite 8 run when you look at the firepower, the pieces at Andy Enfield's disposal, and it's a team that's continuing to improve. Matthews is emblematic of the upside of this USC team.
We talked about this last night, but can you imagine how dangerous USC would be with Benny Boatwright and DeAnthony Melton, 2 of the projected starters, playing without? That's a high-hanging shot. It's off the heel from Ronnie Alkins. Boatwright out with a knee injury. DeAnthony Melton never did restore eligibility, caught up in the FBI investigation, and eventually decided to leave school and get ready for the pros. Metu into Ayton, a wild shot. It's off the side of the backboard. Numbers for the Wildcats. They'll look to take advantage with Akon driving into the paint and turning it over. The man that was back on the other end came back and got a steal. And now McLaughlin gets fouled by Alkins, his second.
Now the jump in the air. No look pass. The drive by McLaughlin, able to pick up the foul.
Well, the Trojans and the Wildcats in a good one here. USC in front by 1 in the Pac-12 championship. Already 7 lead changes in this one. It's seen DeAndre Ayton rack up 9 points over the first 12 minutes or so.
Well, Joe, good execution here by the Wildcats. This is high-low basketball between the two bigs. Arizona has the floor spaced, and as a result, good flash by Ristic, and then the good target hand, as you see, Metu helps uphill on Ristic, and that's precise delivery, up high, a good finish as a result. Well-devised, well-executed by the Wildcats.
Not many teams have a pair of 7-footers, period, let alone 2 7-footers as skilled as Ristic and Ayton. A couple of shots here for Jordan McLaughlin. And 3 early ones for the senior point guard. It's been the headliner of this turnaround at USC under Andy Enfield. It's a top 50 recruit. Chose USC over UCLA and Indiana. Kansas really had his choice. Wanted to be a part of something, though. Wanted to be a part of changing that culture at USC and getting that program to where it is now.
And you'll see this USC zone. Now they've extended in the last few minutes. They can collapse it, or they can come out and pressure as they are here. I prefer the ball pressure. Don't allow Arizona to be so comfortable.
Inside Ristic. Ayton tips it to himself. Up in traffic. Hung on the rim for an eternity. Then Ristic just wanted it more. The Cats dominating the glass. Tied again.
Ristic playing volleyball on the backboards there with his teammates, just keeping it alive, creating second, third shot opportunities. Stick-to-itiveness.
There it is. First stick-to-itiveness. 6:20 to go first half. Vukocevic sealing Ristic. Shot clock down at 2. He got fouled by Smith. And we go back to the offensive rebound display.
Well, this is what we call war rebound drill. And just staying after it. In traffic. Physical. Who wants it more? And Ristic, the beneficiary.
You know, they didn't have a single offensive rebound in the first half in the semifinal against UCLA. That was the big message from Sean Miller at halftime. He said, look, we are not the team we want to be if we're not offensive rebounding. The 2 7-footers they have, and they came out and were much better on the offensive glass in the second half and in overtime, and they've carried that over here in the championship thus far.
Well, and to someone at home listening, they may say, really? That's coaching? But sometimes it's as simple as amplifying, putting the energies and the focus in one area, and young people applying that message, taking it out on the court and executing. It's good coaching. And on the boards.
Shot clock inside at 10. It's down to 5 with Trier. Around an Ayton screen. Now way outside from back in Tucson. It's a brick from Jackson Cartwright. A good defensive possession for the Trojans that time. There's a baseline drive from Stewart. Got cut off. Matthews goes baseline. Matthews leaves it off the front of the rim. That's a tie-up, and it goes to the Wildcats.
One of the easier opportunities for Matthews over the past couple nights and not able to convert. Again, though, the fact that DeAndre Ayton is on the floor, looming with that length and quickness, so the daylight closes the opening so quickly. Close down, and that can play on a player's mind when you're driving to the basket.
Again, they're using the whole shot clock. In the middle of the zone, it's Ristich. Spinning on Metu. Ayton almost had another offensive rebound. Instead, we get another jump ball, and this one will flip it back to the Trojans.
Ayton, we know about the finesse and the skill, but I like the fact he's getting on the floor here. 7-1, not afraid to get in a scrap. A little rugby scrum breaks out.
Physical freak already, and then he puts on 30 pounds of muscle since arriving in Tucson in July. On a formal weight program for the first time, not just as a basketball player, first time in his life he's been on any kind of formal weight program. Very first conditioning workout when he arrived in Tucson, he lost his lunch. And so he thought, wow, maybe this is going to be a little more difficult than I thought. It was the first thing in his basketball life that didn't come easy to him. But he's embraced it. And with that natural ability he's got, those God-given gifts he's got, combined with his newfound routine, the top player in the conference and one of the top in the country. Indeed, Prokosevic. Nice move when he hooks it in.
Love to see the old jump hooks. Still effective.
Gets fouled by Metu.
That's where you have to have better defensive discipline if you're Metu. Again, McLaughlin surveying the court, able to deliver the dime inside, and Rakocevic smooth. Ball comes off his fingertips in the ideal manner, and that's what gives you touch. People always think about the way the ball comes off the fingertips on a jump shot, but the same is true on a hook shot.
By the way, Lav, that was his second foul on Chimezie Metu, so he sits down. USC gets significantly smaller against the 2 7-footers here. Here's one of them. Ristich spinning. Well, if you like hook shots, you've come to the right place.
If you're a young player watching this game somewhere in the country, the bigs on both these teams are fundamentally sound. They play the game the right way. A lot to be learned.
Ayton quickly double. Jackson Cartwright into the corner. Raleigh Yalkins. Rebound McLaughlin.
McLaughlin, when he comes up the floor, always has his head up, using the vision. That's why when he sees a teammate open, he's able to deliver so quickly.
How about Nick Rakocevic, who quietly has 9?
Rakocevic, in the first 2 games this conference tournament for USC, doing a lot of the dirty work, screening, rebounds, but tonight showing the offensive ability as well.
The guy who's seen an increased role with Benny Boatwright's ongoing injury issues. Shot clock inside at 10. Jackson Cartwright stepping back and leaving it off for Ristich. 2 more for the big man.
Boy, that one had even better backspin on it. You see the seams on the Wilson Jet.
Stewart was left unmarked, and Arizona dodged a bullet there, but then they give it right back. McLaughlin off for Usher, reverses it in. Jordan Usher.
Dipsy-do, scooparoo. And McLaughlin always involved in terms of setting up his Trojan teammates for high percentage looks.
Ayton rises. 13 in a row for the 7-footers, Ayton and Ristich for Arizona. And a 1-point game with 2:06 left in the first half.
Boy, big men going to work, carving out space, footwork, skills, hook shots, soft touches. Timeout.
I was lost, then you came round.
good first half. Coming up at the break, Casey Jacobson will join me. He'll tell us how the stars from last night still shining here tonight. How about the Big East Championship at the Garden? That one went to overtime. Tell you how that all went down. And then UVA against UNC for the ACC. It's a lot of letters. Hope that makes sense. We'll try to make sense of it at the break. Right now, back to Joe Davis.
All right, Kevin, we'll stick around for that. Good one going here. 29-28 USC trying to win its first conference title since 2009, which is also the last time they were in the conference championship game. Arizona, the regular season champ, trying to make it back-to-back tournament titles, 3 in the last 4 years. Jordan McLaughlin, again quiet as far as the scoring, but he's been the distributor. That's another nice pass, and it's a 5th assist as Rakocevic jumps into double figures.
McLaughlin, like David Copperfield, we're in Las Vegas.
Well done.
The ability to wheel, deal, pocket pass with precision. So surgical in his passing.
Sure thought about a 3. Instead, gets to the foul line, lost the handle. With 7 to shoot. Smith in a tough spot. Somehow finds Ayton. But an offensive foul. It's the first on Ayton.
You do see the chicken wing a bit. Rakocevic sells it well. Don't fault him for giving it his best Academy Award performance. Once that elbow kind of chicken wing comes up and you hook, makes it easier for the official to blow that whistle and make that call.
Usher spinning and rifling a pass through Rakocevic's hands.
Yikes, tight quarters, poor spacing, trying to pass in a closet. And also not much touch. He fired a fastball at Rakocevic.
Good sign for the Trojans, though, Lav. That's only their 4th turnover after they turned it over 20 times last night. How do you turn it over 20 times and win by 20?
Open a bakery.
Dylan Smith, open 3 is short. Last touch by USC.
You know, it's interesting. We mentioned Boatwright's injury and D'Anthony Melton no longer with the team, and yet USC's 7 more cohesive. They don't have as much depth, but the rhythm they've established and found as a result of a tighter rotation has been a catalyst in their recent surge.
Defensive numbers better without Boatwright. Ayton along 2. DeAndre Ayton's doing it again, folks. 13 for the freshman to lead all scores, and a timeout for USC.
When we go back to ball pressure, Ayton, Ristage, too comfortable on their catches. And so if you're in the infield at halftime, the adjustment is close down that airspace. Don't allow Arizona to move the ball so comfortably, establish a rhythm, and get looks over the top of your defense, whether it's for a shot or an interior pass. And I go back to football, the analogy of pressure on the quarterback. You don't want to be in a prevent defense. All that does is prevent you from winning.
Yes. Oh, you're not a big prevent guy, huh?
Well, time and score.
I'm with
situational. You know, if you're up 20 with a minute to go, it's one thing. But through the flow of the game, USC feeds off their defensive stops. That's what fuels their fast break, their high-octane attack. So ball pressure
combining for 21 in this first half. 1-point game. Trojans have held a narrow lead for much of this half. Shot clock's turned off, and it's in the hands of Matthews. And Rakocevic with 11 to lead USC. McLaughlin on the dribble handoff, turn in the corner, feeding Rakocevic. 13 for him. The Trojan lead is 3. Headed to the break in the Pac-12 championship.
Back to cohesive, well-knit. A designed play out of the timeout by Andy Enfield. Everyone gets a touch.
Finishes the half with a 6th Jordan McLaughlin assist. Rakocevic leading the way with a 13 for the Trojans. Kevin and Casey have it on the other side. minutes to decide a Pac-12 tournament champion. USC has led much of the way. They lead by 3, but it's been tight the whole way. We've got 20 minutes left in this one. Glad that you're with us. Joe Davis and Steve Lavin, and what do you think of the first 20 minutes, and what are you looking for moving forward?
Well, punch and counter punch. Highly competitive game. Lead change 7 times, 4 ties. Expected to go this way right down to the wire. These teams know each other so well from conference play, so stepping into the postseason, not surprised. They know tendencies, strengths, vulnerabilities, and it's about who executes, who gets stops, free throws, taking care of the ball, as it always is when it comes to basketball.
A couple of mismatches in the stats column. One of them is in the rebounding. Arizona's +9. The other one is in turnovers. Arizona's turned it over 9 times. So Arizona starts with it here in the second half. Dusan Ristic and DeAndre Ayton combined to carry them in the first half. Ayton misfires on a dunk. And as it knocked away by Matthews, it'll stay here. The last 15 minutes of the half, Lav, nobody else scored a field goal than those 2 guys. 15 in a row for Ristic and Ayton.
And when you're in the flow of a game, and you've got a player that's going to work with confidence, wise to go back to him. Good out-of-bounds execution on the baseline. BJC, Parker Jackson Cartwright finds Ayton for the easy flush. USC with the breakdown defensively in terms of vision and position.
Something we haven't seen too many times this weekend. USC's been really good defensively. Jonah Matthews gets blocked by Trier. Ayton comes up with it.
Joe, with Metu having 2 fouls, if I'm Arizona, go right at him and try and pick up his 3rd. Even though they're in a zone, you can still isolate on Metu.
Riley Alkins gives Arizona the lead. And an early timeout for Andy Enfield as Tucson North comes alive. Of the night has given Arizona the lead.
Well, against the USC zone here, we're going to watch as the ball's going to go to Parker Jackson Cartwright. You've got Ayton at the high post, and then right here the runner Alkins. These 3 are going to work together, and Alkins slips behind USC zone. They feed the high post, and Ayton delivers the pass to Alkins, bottoms of the net. Always good to have action behind the zone where you're behind it and they don't have the vision, like creeping along the fence at night like a cat. And that's how you get open. Good ball movement as well. Another example of Ayton's ability to pass the ball.
Right, you and I were both interested hearing from the USC staff that the bigger concern wasn't necessarily what was going to happen inside. It was the fear that Arizona would be hot outside, because you know that Ayton's going to get his inside. That's only the 3rd 3 of the night, though, for Arizona, hence the close game. Metu wants it inside and gets it against Ayton. Nice looking hook shot.
That's important for Metu to have the ball go through the net so he can begin to play with more confidence, feel good about himself. And sometimes it helps your defense. When you score on offense, gives you a little pep in the step.
In and out for Ristic. Yeah, it was Metu's first field goal of the night.
Going back to your point about the 3s and the inside-outside of games, we see McLaughlin blocked by Alkins. There's that length.
And the trailer, Trier. Nowhere close. Ayton the offensive rebound, then gets stripped. There's a whistle and a foul on USC, which was headed in the other direction if there was no call.
Wow, Andy Enfield is confused. Looked like it was a good collapse, a good dig. Crowded Ayton and a clean steal by Matthews, but they pick up the foul.
You were saying, though, about the zone. And
well, you know, I'll use the football analogy.
Yeah.
You know, the run game sets up the pass and vice versa. When the 2 are clicking, that's when you've got a balance offensively that you strive for as a team. You don't want to be too reliant on jump shots.
Chemezi Metsu got loose with it, stumbled to the floor. Will stay on this end with the jump ball.
Yeah, going against a set defense, they would be better off giving it to one of the top point guards in the country, McLaughlin, and let him orchestrate.
Metsu wanted to show you his handles left.
And he has them. I'm not a hater. Big fella's really improved in all aspects of play.
Here he is underneath, getting fouled. Chemezi Metsu, junior from Lawndale, California.
A good cut from the blind side. And Vukocevic with this size, almost like a periscope, coming out of a submarine, is able to see over the top and deliver that pass.
Metsu, born in California, moved to Nigeria though when he was 5 years old, and then back to the United States when he was 12, and became a highly touted recruit in California. Leaned heavily towards UCLA at first, changed his mind though, and Ben Howland left. 0 of 2 on that trip, and we remain tied.
Imploring his team from the sidelines to move the ball.
Ayton's second try gets him to the line.
Again, no ball pressure, and that's what allows Arizona to throw these precise lob passes. And of course, Ayton able to go up again. Taps the ball to himself with one hand, secures it, and takes it up, draws the foul. Made it look easy. It's such a difficult play.
Another guy with an international background. He was born in the Bahamas, raised in the Bahamas, and moved to the United States, to San Diego when he was 12. And eventually to Phoenix partway through his high school career, and that of course helped give Sean Miller in Arizona a leg up in the recruiting to land the nation's #1 recruit, who just might be the nation's #1 draft pick moving forward.
His overall bearing and temperament will help him as he goes through his career. A quick learner.
It's tied Kevin Love, by the way, for the most double-doubles by a freshman in Pac-12 history. He's 23rd tonight. 17 points, 13 rebounds for Ayton. Arizona back in front.
A different look here by USC as Jordan Matthews brings the ball to the floor and allows McLaughlin to move without the basketball. Gonna come get a catch on the dribble handoff into a ball screen.
Stewart penetrates and kicks. McLaughlin goes by Jackson Cartwright. His runner's there.
So smooth. The mid-range game, he has the rim game, he's got the three-point shooting game, but it's his pride in passing that separates him. He enjoys the thrill of a pass.
We talked about the anomaly that was the 10-turnover game last night. He's responded with 6 assists, no turnovers. Knocked out of bounds, last touch by Ristich, and USC takes it.
Well, it's interesting, USC has a number of alignments offensively where they bring the bigs up the floor to set ball screens. Vukocevic, Metu, and that lifts Arizona's big men away from the basket area. And then they create the foot races because SC has good quickness in terms of the bigs sprinting to the rim.
Good hands, Jackson Cartwright. He's got bigs running with him. He kicks. Alonzo Trier thought about it. Instead penetrates. Reverses it in. He's been quiet, but an aggressive take puts Arizona back in front. Metsu against Ayton. Chemezi Metsu finds Matthews inside a 10 to shoot. A foul on Ayton, #2.
Alonzo Trier from 22 feet, one bounce takes it all the way to the other side of the rim. Reminds me of someone named Dr. J.
Day here in Las Vegas. Arizona with a 2-point lead. Right now, Howie Schwab has the Cats as a 3 seed, and regardless of the outcome of the game tonight, that's where he sees them falling. He's got the Trojans as a 10, the Bruins as one of the last 4 in, and then there's Arizona State. Lav, you know that there's not been a team ranked in the AP top 30 as late as January, or top 3 as late as January, like Arizona State was, and then to miss the tournament since 1977 when it was a 32-team field.
Yeah, Joe, I'd be shocked if Arizona State doesn't make the NCAA tournament because of the work they've done. Not just the wins over Xavier, Kansas. Everyone focuses on that, but also USC, UCLA, Kansas State, at San Diego State, Vanderbilt. And if they reverse the order, as we see Arizona secure the board, if reverse the order of their success, if they had won 12 straight coming down the stretch here, I'm going to be drooling over Arizona State and talk about their stock rising. But because they struggled in conference play, people focused on that more and not how successful they were in terms of those quad 1 wins and the quality neutral site and road W's. The Sun Devils are in.
5 to shoot. Alonzo Trier gives it up for Smith, who gets blocked by Stewart. It starts to break the other way. Elijah Stewart sweeps it off the glass to tie it.
And Joe goes back to ball pressure. Those deflections, aggressive, smothering, stifling ball pressure gets the Trojans out in transition.
10th turnover they've forced tonight. Ayton goes to work and nearly turned it over again. Instead, they get a foul, and they get Metu. It's number 3.
Boy, that's a tough foul, but here's USC after that ball pressure. Open court opportunity for Elijah Stewart out of Westchester High School. Basketball powerhouse in Southern California. Trevor Ariza, Dwayne Polee, Billy Knight, among many others. Hassan Adams, a former Wildcat as well, all played for Edizam.
Big deal here, by the way. Metu sitting down with the 3 fouls at the 14:29 mark.
Well, and 2 of the fouls is when he was caught reaching in the cookie jar. Unnecessary, not having the discipline.
Dylan Smith. Stewart climbs the ladder and gets the rebound over DeAndre Ayton.
Well, SC wise to have their guards rally to the paint like gang tackling, but gang rebounding. Do it as a group. Don't expect your bigs to get the rebound. Get back in there yourself as a guard. Get a rebound.
Here's Matthews. Now McLaughlin, 6 to shoot. Pinder hedges. McLaughlin gives it up. In the corner, it's Usher. Got to get rid of it. Trier drives in traffic. It's pinned up in there by Ayton, and the jump ball will keep it on this end. It's wedged between the rim and the backboard, and Arizona will inbound with a fresh shot clock.
Trier not on balance on that drive. With his size, he can gather his feet.
Hawkins has it knocked away, and it's another Arizona turnover.
You don't want to bring the ball down in tight quarters when you're draped with defenders, like having wet towels on you. That'll lead to a turnover.
Matthews posting Jackson Cartwright. Instead, Usher fires away. Around and out. Tipped around to Pinder.
Again, the infield get the ball back in McLaughlin's hands. Last 2 possessions. Not what the Trojans would want in terms of shots.
Ayton against Rakocevic. So smooth with the footwork, huh?
Well, you see the pirouettes, the Barishnikovs. Again, the nifty footwork, so nimble. And that's what creates the ability for him to get to the basket for those good looks.
19 and 15, and still 12 and a half to go. Stewart underneath, fades and hits. And how good is this Pac-12 championship? Tied again. inside Ayton. He's doubled. Now it's Trier. Shot clock winding down. Jackson Cartwright to Alkins. Penetrates and feeds. And the foul. At the last moment, he found the big man who's got a chance at three.
Good offense and good defense, Joe. USC rotating, scrambling, but Arizona had the answer. The big fella going to work.
Let's welcome to the court, USA on TV.
NASCAR was just here in Las Vegas last weekend. Now it's down to Phoenix, where Kevin Harvick tries to win his third in a row. You can catch all the action starting tomorrow at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific on Fox, or you can stream it live on Fox Sports Go. Joe Davis and Steve Lavin back in Las Vegas. Arizona's got a 2-point lead, and DeAndre Ayton has been a huge part of that. After the career-high 32 last night in the semifinal win against UCLA. 21 and 15 tonight. It's got half of Arizona's 44. Largest lead of the game for Arizona. In fact, largest lead of the game period is 4. A lob for Chimezie Metu.
That's what we spoke about earlier, Joe. Get the ball back into McLaughlin's hands, bring Metu into a screen, and after he rolls, because of his quickness, no recovery by Arizona, just a foot race to the rim.
Ristic against Metu is in the game with his 3 fouls. Shot clock again winding down. Jackson Cartwright hangs it up. No. Offensive rebound. Ristic, and he cleans it up. He's into double figures. Arizona continues to dominate on the glass. Shaquan Aaron. Offensive rebound. McLaughlin this time. Usher goes baseline. Metu in and out. And a foul on USC. They just got Chimezie Metu for his 4th foul.
There's that foot race by Metu. He gets the jam and the great delivery. Kosovic couldn't recover in time because the advantage that Metu has, but big fella. Chimezie going to the bench.
It's a tough 4th foul. Not going to take a lot of contact to jar Carter Jackson Cartwright at 170 pounds. And Metu sits down the 10:40 mark here in the second half. Using all the shot clock again. It's in Trier's hands. Alonzo Trier kicks it out. Jackson Cartwright. Usher with a silencer.
Important answer. Stop a run, but more importantly, put the Arizona fans on mute.
Inside they go to Ayton. It's a cutting Alkins who hammers it down over Stewart. Usher again. Not this time. Smallest man on the floor gets the board. Arizona looks to push. And this place right now is ready to explode. It's Ayton.
double team. Finds the cutting Alkins, who does a chin-up on the rim, a weight room shot. Showing the emotion, the flex. And now Trier over the top. Precise timing. Superman up, and away. Give him a cape. And the reaction. The Wildcat reserves. Doesn't get much better. Quite a run. Feeling like McHale Center here in Las Vegas.
As it tends to. They travel by far better than any other team in the conference here to Las Vegas. And a part of the reason why they've been so good here, trying to make it back-to-back conference championships. Their third in 4 seasons if they can get it. And this continuing story has had the same theme to it. Arizona dominating on the glass, especially on the offensive glass. And right now, USC in loads of trouble with Chimezie Metu playing with the 4 fouls. Andy Enfield, though, has no choice. He puts them back in with the 4 fouls with nearly 9 minutes left. He's got it. He takes it into Ayton. Spinning and heading to the line. That's foul number 3 on DeAndre Ayton.
Arizona offensively against this USC zone has found the answer with the quick ball movement, a balance of post touches to Ayton, and purposeful bounce. No wasted dribbles or massaging, but taking it somewhere to either shot make or play make. You get the sense that if God created a basketball player, it would be DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah.
Length, quickness, temperament, and the poise and intelligence.
Here's Ayton. Quickly double, turns and hits a jump shot. 26 and 15 for Ayton. Largest lead of the game for either side. Who will it be for the Trojans? Shaquan Aaron got in a tough spot, found McLaughlin. His drive turns into a layup.
That's your answer. Get the ball to McLaughlin to stem the bleeding.
Hawkins pass fake. Set himself up for a 3. Ayton somehow got his hands on it. Aaron saved it under his own basket, and it was touched last by Arizona. It'll be USC basketball in a 6-point game with 7:23 to go in the Pac-12 championship on the other side of this break. But Arizona's taking control here in the second, doubling USC up on the boards and getting 26 and 16 from the freshman DeAndre Ayton.
Well, back-to-back remarkable performances, and he influences the game, Joe, in so many ways. Here the post catch, takes his time before using the footwork and the spin moves. Here facing the basket, able to knock a shot down. Again, a catch and shoot opportunity, a flush off an inbounds play along the baseline, throw it over the top and let him throw one down with authority. The flex, the celebration as well, and playing with supreme confidence. And defensively, offensively, a game changer. He will be a franchise changer as next year's #1 pick of the draft, or this year's #1 pick in the draft, that is.
Yeah, I don't know how he doesn't go #1. I know there's a few players in the discussion, but how do you, at the end of the day, pass on this guy?
Well, he's so unique. A combination of Tim Duncan and Elijah Wan Young. Still has to work on his game, but in terms of where he can take it, The ceiling, where is it? I don't see a ceiling on his talent.
It's a rare USC turnover tonight. Ristich, middle of the zone. Hit every part of the rim before falling to Ayton. And a rare miss for him. Wanted a foul, won't get it.
That's where McLaughlin's going to have to step up. He doesn't have to shoot the ball every time, but get him the ball.
Misses point blank.
Still on your next possession if you're SC, get it back to McLaughlin. Let him orchestrate. He's the playmaker, shot maker. They're at their best when he gets touches.
Jackson Cartwright penetrates the zone, and a teardrop goes. It is in McLaughlin's hands. Hangs it up over Ayton, but can't hit. And your presence of Ayton altered the shot.
USC out of sorts offensively. Began with the foul trouble in terms of Metu over the top. Holy smokes.
Ayton from Ristich. Timeout, USC.
Ristich, a nice flash into the high post. Just throws it up to Ayton, his partner, like dancers. Terrific feel for one another, and of course, so fortunate if you throw it anywhere up near the shot clock or the square or above the square. Ayton just keeps climbing the ladder and able to grab it with those terrific hands and jam it home. No answer for the big fella.
This game was tied at 41. Arizona's gone on an 18-8 run. And this 10-point lead, by far the largest of the game. 5:44 to go. Can USC find an answer? They're going to need two in a hurry.
McLaughlin on the last two shots, forcing the action some, but he's a leader. It's coming from a good place. He's been the key catalyst to bringing this USC team back in similar situations when they trail, but he has to be careful about not forcing because his passing can be a catalyst for a comeback. It doesn't always have to be the shooting.
But how about Jonah Matthews, who had those 11 points early on and has disappeared, hasn't scored since midway through the first half after a career-high 27 last night. Sure could use a bucket or two from him. USC in the title game for the first time in 9 years. Arizona trying to make it back-to-back conference tournament championships as McLaughlin gets to the rim and lays it in.
Well, you know it's coming, but it's still difficult to defend because of his handles, that next gear.
Ristich. Now Ayton. Finds Trier with 7 to shoot. Working on Matthews. Alonzo Trier gets fouled with 3 in the shot clock.
Joe, this is an example of intelligence and purpose. DeAndre Ayton has 2 or 3 USC defenders draped on him, crowding him, and yet he uses the bounce at 7'1" to clear for a better passing angle and to get the ball around the horn to Alonzo Trier. And that's something that, while you teach it, you rep it, someone his size rarely makes it look so easy.
You certainly don't expect it to come in that package.
And it's just one more thing that makes him so difficult to match up with.
Ristich, deep post positioning, and he's going to take advantage every time when he gets it in that spot. A dozen for Doosan. The lead back to 10. Elijah Stewart outside McLaughlin. Open look and a 3.
Wow, 5 straight for McLaughlin. He's starting to feel it. Back on track.
He's got a dozen.
Plenty of time here, but it begins with a stop if you're USC, and they get it.
Arizona had cleaned things up offensively, started to limit the turnovers before that. Now Stewart loses the handle on his way up, and they'll put him at the line for 2.
When you get a stop, you can get down the floor, get an advantage in terms of numbers before Arizona sets their half-court defense. That's what creates those angles, and Stewart takes advantage.
Really the first adversity USC's faced in this tournament. 13-point win against Oregon State in a game they never trailed in the quarterfinal. And then a 20-point win where they led by as many as 28 in the semi. Led for most of the first half in this one, but it's been all Arizona in the second.
Arizona looking like a 1 seed, more likely to be a 2 if the selection committee's watching tonight somewhere, eating some pizza and evaluating.
Ristic working hard and dropping it in. He's got 14.
It's wonderful, the chemistry between Ayton and Ristic, and they're so different in their approach. It's why they complement each other as a tandem.
Metu has been quiet since getting that 4th foul. A reach in here on Alkins is his 4th. 3:23 left to go. Arizona's riding DeAndre Ayton once again. They've taken an 8-point lead here in the Pac-12 championship.
Kevin Burkhardt back here in Las Vegas. Coming up after the game, we've got the Pac-12 championship trophy presentation, cutting down the nets, interviews, the whole thing that's coming up. Also the Big East tournament. Finals went to overtime. We got highlights there. Virginia and Kansas win their conferences. Highlights, a lot to do on the postgame show coming right up after the game. Joe Davis, back to you.
A lot to do over the final 3:23 if USC wants to come from behind, trailing Arizona by 8 in the Pac-12 championship. Both teams into the bonus now. That foul on Riley Alkins, his 4th, and the team's 6th. USC started to lean on their senior point guard Jordan McLaughlin, who will inbound here. Gets it into Stewart. His 3 is too strong. Long rebound tracked down by Parker Jackson Cartwright. Here's a lob for DeAndre Ayton, a man among boys. 30 and 17. A steal for Dusan Ristic. But he turns it right back over. And then a foul on Trier. My goodness. Just a disaster of a 2 or 3 second stretch for the Wildcats.
Well, a good screen against the zone by Alkins. A set play out of the timeout. Good delivery by Parker Jackson Cartwright. And Arizona looking like a national championship team. The pieces, the chemistry coming together at the right time of the year. If they close out here, Joe, a Pac-12 outright championship, a conference tournament championship, the best player in the country, DeAndre Ayton, and some experienced pieces as well in Trier, Alkins, Parker Jackson Cartwright, and Ristic.
Arizona dodging a bullet here as McLaughlin misses the front end of the 1-and-1. And then a foul on USC. He'll put it at the line on the other end.
30 years in the business, I'm not sure I've seen a prospect as uniquely gifted as Ayton. You know, Glenn Big Dog Robinson, as a coach, as an analyst, you know, watching the Ray Allens, the great players through the years, Jason Kidd in our conference. But DeAndre Ayton as uniquely gifted as any I've seen in 30 years.
He's like a creative player on a video game, turned up to 99 on everything.
That's so true. And it's the fact at his size. It's one thing to have a guard, you know, a forward, but 7'1". The handles, the skill, the intelligence, the quickness. Wow.
Big hole for the Trojans. 2:37 to go. Metu kicks it out. Extra pass from Matthews. Got the defender to fly by. No from 3. Foul on Ayton. His 4th. And they actually called Ronnie Alkins his 5th. So Alkins fouls out and Ayton still with 3.
And deservedly, Alkins gets a good applause from the Wildcat faithful. There's a critical juncture in this game, and Rawley Alkins had the big jam off the pass from DeAndre Ayton, who was double teamed, and then he hit a big 3, and then a drive and a dish as well. And it's as the Wildcats were building this lead.
USC will have 8 for 16 at the foul line today. You're playing a team like Arizona, that's not going to be good enough. Ristic aggressive. 2 more for Dusan Ristic, and 16 total. Usher buries a 3. For the moment, quiets the crowd, bringing USC back to within 11, and they're able to set up the press. Matthews whistled for the foul, and Parker Jackson Cartwright heads to the line for a 1-and-1.
You know, Dusan Ristic putting on a clinic as well tonight, and we take a look at the foul on Matthews along the baseline. But Ristic, the reason he's mastered his position in terms of footwork and skill, it comes from the summers. Working on his own, and then in practice, when you break down guards and big men, the bigs here at Arizona are so well coached, so well drilled on a daily basis.
Lane violation here.
And here he is, the back down dribble, and then the step through and goes to the left hand. Hours and hours of working on the technique of post play.
More wins than anybody in Arizona history. This will be his 115th in his 4-year Wildcat career. Jackson Cartwright makes him pay for the lane violation. Usher. 1:40. And they start fouling. Dylan Smith to the line. They shoot 1-and-1. They can start to taste it here. Preseason number 2 in the country, Arizona was. And then they had those 3 losses in 3 days in the Bahamas. That was in November. Dropped out of the top 25. Ristic gets a good hand as he sits down. Now they've gone 23-4 since. And that alone, without context, is impressive. But when you then consider all the distractions that this program has had, from Alonzo Trier getting the 2-game suspension for the failed PED test, which was eventually corrected by the NCAA, to the well-documented Sean Miller, DeAndre Ayton saga, a foul on Stewart. Smith heads back to the line. But to be able to hold things together and right the ship down the stretch, to get an outright regular season title and a likely Pac-12 tournament title, it's pretty impressive what Arizona's been able to do.
Well, you go back to the leadership, the stewardship of Sean Miller, and we've seen it before as he's navigated adversity. His ability to stay focused on the task at hand and to set the example for his players to follow. is special, unique. He's headed to the Basketball Hall of Fame. When you look at his numbers, the trajectory, this may be the year they break through, get to a Final Four, win a national title.
Aaron drills the triple. 5 Pac-12 championships in his 9 seasons, but no Final Four trips. 0-3 in the Elite Eight. This is the kind of team that can do it. I mean, just such a unique mismatch with Ayton and Ristich.
And through the injuries, they got reps for players that now have more confidence and put it all back together. They also have a better bench. Their depth is greater as a result of Alkins being out and Trier being out at different times this year.
For good measure, DeAndre Ayton, 32 on back-to-back nights. Stewart, no. Ayton, for good measure again, picks up his 18th rebound. And this Arizona partisan crowd rises in Las Vegas for the 3rd time in 4 years. Conference tournament champions, back-to-back conference tournament titles. This one perhaps the most satisfying yet for Sean Miller and Arizona. They get 32 and 18 from DeAndre Ayton. They get 16 from Dusan Ristich. They hit their last 7 shots from the field, took care of business at the foul line for the most part. And USC just ran out of gas over the final 10 minutes or so of this one. Back-to-back conference tournament champions, and they sweep the hardware, getting the regular season title outright, and coming to Vegas playing some of their best basketball of the season. Getting the conference tournament hardware.
Well, it's so interesting, Joe, that it's likely the adversity and the struggle through the regular season that has brought this team together, galvanized, been a catalyst for a more cohesive approach, both offensively and defensively, playing with that sense of purpose, that hard edge, a bit of a chip on the shoulder. And I think it's a result of the struggles. Much like life, basketball, a metaphor for life, either breaks you or makes you stronger. And the adversity this year brought this team together, and they are poised to make a run to the Final Four and even cut down the nets. No team playing better right now than the Arizona Wildcats.
Kevin Burkhardt standing by with DeAndre Ayton.
DeAndre, enjoying this as you should. When you decided to come to Arizona, is this what you thought it would be like?
Yes, sir. You know, we don't want to really, I didn't come here to really ride the coattails of the past players. I came here to make my own history, leave my own mark on the school, and you know, that's following those guys' footsteps. That's what I'm trying to do.
The last 2 games were unlike anything I've ever seen. You tied your career high both nights with 32. How did you do it?
Just playing hard. My teammates really trusted my offense and defense. You know, I showed both best effort on both ends of the floor, and I just executed, did what Coach told me to do.
Is there a point in the second half where, I mean, you're getting the ball and you're just scoring every time? Did you feel unstoppable?
I mean, I just knew it was going for me. You know, the ball felt right, and you know, I've been working on my game, and you know, hard work pays off.
How does Pac-12 champ sound to you?
Pac-12, that was amazing. This is a great feeling. You know, I can't stop smiling. My cheekbones hurt.
You deserve it. That was amazing. Go enjoy it, DeAndre.
Yes, sir, thank you.
DeAndre Ayton just outstanding today, back-to-back 32-point games, career highs. Let's bring in the other big man, Dusan Ristich. Dusan, I mean, wow, this was a heck of a game. First half obviously closed, and then what was done at halftime? Because not only did your defense lock up, but offensively you started to break them down.
It's a similar story like two days ago. We didn't play well in the first half, but then in the second half, our defense was amazing. I mean, that's an example of how we should go from this point on. You know, I'm proud of this team. We played unbelievably hard. We showed how tough we are as a team, and you know, I'm just happy to be a part of this team.
How much does your experience help you? You've played in so many of these Pac-12 games. How much does that experience help tonight?
Yeah, I'm just trying to help younger guys. You know, we have a lot of freshmen here. You know, this is their first Pac-12 tournament in their career, so you know, I just try to help them as much as I could with my experience, and that's it, man. Just unbelievable.
One of those freshmen is DeAndre Ayton. How much fun have you had? A couple 7-footers playing with him. You're passing to each other. How much fun has that been for you?
It's so much fun to play with him. He's the best player in the country right now. He's pretty much unstoppable. Whenever you throw the ball to him, he's gonna catch it and finish it. So it's really fun to play with him.
One last one from you. How has your coach Sean Miller led you through this? You guys have had some ups and downs this year, but it feels like you're playing your best basketball.
Man, he did an amazing job. Obviously, we had the 3 games in 3 days. You know, he just gave us that extra confidence. I think these last 3 games we played our best basketball so far of the season.
Dusan, enjoy it. Great job tonight.
Appreciate that. Thanks.
Dusan Ristic, back-to-back 7-footers. That's a pretty nice combo. Joe, let's go back to you for now.
All right, Kevin, Arizona, Pac-12 tournament champions. There's some hardware that needs to get handed out, Kevin, and the Cats are going to get set up for that after a 75-61 win for Sean Miller and Arizona. Trophy ceremony on the other side of the break. Stick around. Coming back to Vegas in just a moment.
How are you, Las Vegas, Nevada? Unbelievable back here at the T-Mobile Arena. What a Pac-12 tournament game. My name is Kevin Burkhardt from Fox Sports. Let's hear it. How about that Pac-12 title game, huh? Amazing as Arizona does the job. They win it back-to-back years. We've got the Pac-12 trophy presentation coming up. There we go. We had a hard time hearing it. Hey, fans, how about that Pac-12 title game? There we go. Say it again for the folks in the arena. My name is Kevin Burkhardt from Fox Sports. That was some Pac-12 tournament with an unbelievable title game. Welcome to the Pac-12 trophy presentation, which we'll get to in just a minute, as long as the most outstanding player presentation too. Great job by the crowd. You guys were awesome here at T-Mobile Arena. What a fantastic venue this whole week. And I know we're happy to be a part of it. So we've got more to do, but with that being said, let's introduce the Pac-12 commissioner. Mr. Larry Scott is here.
Thank you, Kevin. What a great game. Let's first congratulate not just the Arizona Wildcats, but also the USC Trojans on a fantastic championship game. It was awesome. I'd also like to thank the fans for being here. We had 80,000 fans this week, our second year at T-Mobile Arena. And it's turned out to be a great event. It doesn't happen without our partners. Our presenting sponsor, New York Life, our partners at the MGM here, and of course, Las Vegas events. So without further ado, I want to hand the trophy to the most outstanding player of the Pac-12 tournament. Congratulations, DeAndre Ayton. Congratulations, DeAndre. It also gives me great pleasure to now congratulate the Pac-12 tournament champion, to Coach Sean Miller and the Arizona Wildcats.
Sean, what's the thing you are most proud of about this team, about what you did here this week?
Well, I thought our team, number one, had an amazing focus to us. Everything was about the next game, the next practice, and I think it really showed because our defense was maybe the best it's been all season in this tournament. And if it wasn't, I don't know if we would have even made the championship game. So proud of our team. Also want to signal out Dusan and Parker. This is their third Pac-12 tournament championship. Two great seniors, and
Keanu, another senior, did a great job for us.
Congrats, Sean. You've earned it.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Pac-12 tournament champions, the Arizona Wildcats.
We've got plenty more coming up from Las Vegas. Kevin Burkhardt, Casey Jacobson will take you through what was a fun Pac-12 title game. It's been a fun Pac-12 tournament all week. Plenty more coverage coming up.